Hey everyone, I'm Casey Jones, and this is my final assignment video on transportation. For the problem statement, Cal Poly San Luis Obispo faces significant challenges in achieving sustainable mobility and transportation solutions for its growing population, as we all know. Despite ongoing efforts to promote this eco-friendly transportation, the campus still struggles, in my mind, with limited parking availability, as we all know. There's also high commuter emissions, unrealistic public transit options, and insufficient bike and pedestrian infrastructure within the city of SLO and Cal Poly. The increasing reliance on personal vehicles contributes to congestion, carbon emissions, and accessibility issues, impacting both campus sustainability goals and student convenience. Additionally, integrating innovative smart mobility solutions such as AI-powered public transit optimization and real-time parking management presents technical, financial, and ethical barriers when trying to implement this, including infrastructure limitations, data privacy concerns, and equitable access to transportation alternatives. Addressing these challenges requires a comprehensive, data-driven, and inclusive approach that enhances multimodal transportation options, reduces environmental impact, and improves overall mobility for students, faculty, and the surrounding community as we know it on Cal Poly. As far as my reasoning for picking transportation for Cal Poly specifically, I have been a local of the Central Coast my whole life. I've lived here up in North County in Atascadero, and seeing the congestion within Cal Poly, and especially SLO, it just has prompted me to choose this as my option because it affects everyone, and especially when it comes to biking. Me as a rider, because I'm a mountain biker, I would love for Cal Poly to have the option to bike around campus freely and more efficiently, while also for people who aren't bikers to be able to have bikes for them to promote a healthy lifestyle for the campus, which will ultimately create a better atmosphere for everyone, in my mind. For the facts and statistics about Cal Poly and focusing on its transportation issues, I'm going to be naming some negative stats that I was able to find. One being for transportation and commuting, there's a high commuter emission problem that we have going on here because commuting contributes to nearly half of Cal Poly's total carbon emissions output, presenting a significant hurdle for achieving carbon neutrality. I found this on calpoly.edu. There's also public transit limitations, as San Luis Obispo's public transit system, as we know, which serves the campus, has faced many issues with driver shortages and technical problems with the shuttles, leading to reduced routes and service disruptions. I found this on Mustang News. There's also student concerns because students have expressed much dissatisfaction with the reliability and convenience of local transit options, highlighting the need for future improvements. I found this on Mustang News. For infrastructure and campus development, there's been many parking constraints, as we know. Despite efforts to expand parking facilities, the ratio of parking spaces to students is decreasing due to enrollment growth, leading to potential accessibility issues for commuters, such as myself. As of 2024, Cal Poly has a total of 8,648 parking spaces, 2,892 of those being for general purpose parking, 3,492 of them being for dorm resident parking spaces only. Despite efforts to expand these parking facilities, the ratio of parking spaces to students is decreasing due to enrollment growth. To address this, as I have talked with ASI, Cal Poly's facilities master plan emphasizes reducing the demand for individual vehicle parking by constructing additional dormitories for people to stay at, and it will also enhance campus life. I was able to find this all on Wikipedia, and in terms of commuter parking, as of 2024-2025, there's 2,450 total designated commuter parking spaces across campus. For current strengths and efforts for Cal Poly, in specific for transportation, I was actually able to find some pro statistics and initiatives for Cal Poly regarding transportation. The first statistic is for bicycle infrastructure, because as of 2024, there's over 7,000 bike racks and over 252 secure bike lockers within campus. This supports the significant amount of the university commuting residents within a 5-mile radius. An initiative that has been talked about is the Green Commuter Challenge. This initiative encourages the university to adopt a eco-friendly commuting option, such as walking, biking, public transit, and carpooling, aiming to reduce the university's carbon footprint for each individual student. As we've seen around campus, there's plenty of people biking, plenty of people walking, plenty of people riding skateboards around campus, and I love to see this as an individual going to Cal Poly. Another initiative is called the Active Transportation Infrastructure Expansion, and in 2023, the ASI board passed a resolution 2306 advocating for the expansion of active transportation infrastructure on campus. This resolution emphasized the need for improved bike lanes, pedestrian pathways, and safety measures to encourage non-vehicular commutes. I was able to find this on ASI. There's also another initiative where we are collaborating with Slow Transit. Cal Poly has collaborated with Slow Transit to provide efficient public transportation options. The university also subsidizes transit services, allowing students, faculty, and staff to ride free of charge, which is a great option for most of us, thereby promoting the use of public transit over personal vehicles, again, helping the carbon footprint. I was able to find this on calpoly.edu. Another initiative is the Civil Engineering Student Proposal, and in 2024, civil engineering students presented projects focused on sustainable transportation methods, including enhanced bicycle infrastructure and alternative transit options. These proposals aim to provide practical, student-driven solutions to current transportation challenges within SLO and Cal Poly. I was able to find this on Mustang News. The last initiative I have is the master plan called 2035. Cal Poly's Master Plan 2035 outlines a long-term vision for campus development, emphasizing environmental sustainability and a shift from car dependency to pedestrian, bicycle, and transit use. The plan includes housing more students on campus to create a compact, cross-disciplinary academic core to reduce commuting needs. We have seen this with the $1.3 billion facility being built right now, and that should be done by 2026. For proposed tech solutions, there's something called AI-powered smart parking systems, and in specific, there's something called a real-time parking availability app using LOT or LOT sensors in parking lots, where students and visitors can check real-time space availability via a parking app in any of the Cal Poly parking structures. There's also something interesting that I would propose, which is an automated dynamic pricing, where it basically implements a demand-based pricing model for specific parking spaces during the time of day. So this would encourage alternative transit usage during peak hours at Cal Poly. There's also license plate recognition, or LPR, which could replace traditional permits with LPR technology to streamline entry, reduce violations, and improve security. I noticed this at an East LA City College parking structure, where you go in, you park, and your license plate is automatically taken, and there is a charge that goes to your account, which I find really cool. There's also electric vehicle charging integration. As we all know, it's just going to get better and better as far as electric vehicles go. So having more EV charging spots through Cal Poly would encourage more sustainable transportation. There's also a mobility hub for smart tech, such as AI-optimized shuttle services, which basically are dynamic shuttles that adjust their routes based on demand, reducing wait times and overall efficiency. There's also micro-mobility stations. So for people who ride bikes, such as me, having e-bike and scooter stations where you can park and get them locked safely will promote the connectivity for students and visitors. There's also public and private ride-sharing integrations that I find extremely beneficial for Cal Poly in the future. Basically creating a better platform on Cal Poly's website to let students use Uber, Lyft, whatever the case may be, to help optimize trips and minimize congestion within Cal Poly. There's also citywide smart traffic and mobility dashboards which are available that I've seen, which something could be like traffic flow prediction over Cal Poly and SLO, where AI-powered traffic monitoring predicts congestion and suggests alternative routes. There's also smart signal coordination, which is synchronizing city traffic lights with campus parking data to optimize flow and reduce bottlenecks, as we've seen with Cal Poly multiple times. There's also student incentives for sustainability travel, such as sustainable commuting with reward points for biking, carpooling, or public transit use, redeemable for campus perks or gift cards. As far as technical challenges and ethical considerations, LOT sensors in parking lots may fail due to weather damage, network outages, or inaccurate parking availability data. There's also scalability issues with this, as it would require a significant investment in infrastructure and networking. LPRs, the license plate recognitions, also may struggle with poor lighting, obscured plates, misreads, and potentially incorrect citations and complaints, which would be a big issue. There's also cybersecurity risks, obviously, with all of this. And then for ethical considerations, there's privacy concerns, as surveillance would happen 24/7. There'd also be economic accessibility for demand-based pricing, as some people would take that in a not so good way. Data ownership and transparency. Cal Poly would have to be very transparent with all these citations, with all this data, which would cost a lot of money. For a mobility hub and smart transit integration, the technical challenges would be AI route optimization accuracy, as it would potentially be very inaccurate because there's not enough real-time data yet. There's also, for the micromobility infrastructure, in creating these stations to help support the scooters and bikes that are electric, it would cost a lot of money to happen. You'd also have to have zone approvals for the companies that would be building, and also the city, which would cause a lot of problems. And then there's also theft prevention measures that you'd have to take. There's also integration with existing transit options, which would cause problems, because for Uber, which is a national company, it'd be very hard to get them implemented into Cal Poly since it is cross-platform. There's also the fact that user adoption and reliability also has to be taken into account, as you'd have to get a lot of people on board for this to even be possible. For ethical considerations, the accessibility to all students needs to be taken into account. The environmental impact on micromobility, as e-bikes have toxic batteries, as we know. Worker conditions and ride-sharing options is basically just to help the people who are driving the students make sure that they are not liable for anything that would happen. For citywide traffic and mobility dashboards, the technical challenges would be traffic flow prediction accuracy. Same thing is that there's just not enough real-time data as of right now to process congestion accurately. And there's also many traffic lights and transit systems which are outdated tech that may not easily integrate with the new AI-based coordinations. There's also high implementation costs of all of this kind of stuff, because you'd have to invest in sensors, AI development, and coordination. And there's also data latency and processing power, as Cal Poly is just not well equipped yet to be able to have that processing power for this AI usage. And some ethical considerations are obviously surveillance and civil liberties, as AI traffic monitoring might involve widespread use of cameras and sensors, which a lot of people will find invasive. There's also an algorithmic bias in traffic management, as AI may unintentionally be biased in creating routes that stay away from low-income or minority areas. And there's also incentive inequities, which would basically be rewarding students for choosing sustainable transport, but not all students would be able to have access to these alternatives, such as people who live farther away, which would create this disparity.